This is a day where I hope that you hear some really terrific speakers, both from ahead, Gene Kim, Phoenix Project author, who many of you have probably read. The book is going to be here, so we're really, really excited about today. Before I kind of get into my deck, I want to hit a few housekeeping things. One is, as you collaborate, as you hear about cool stuff today, new technologies, share it via social media and include our handle at ThinkAheadIT. We will be giving away a few prizes today, and one of them will be for the most social media interaction. So, please contribute. Please tell the community what you're hearing today. Second is we have some late-breaking news that we got this morning I woke up at about 5 a.m. At about 5:30 a.m., I got a little bit of a private message on Twitter. And this is big news for us as an organization. It's big news for two individuals at Ahead. But we'd really like to give a big round of applause to Eric Shanks and Tim Carr, who were just announced as VCDX, number 196 and number 200. So if you guys could just stand up for a minute. I don't know where you guys are. Put both of them right here. So that's VMware's most prestigious certification. These guys studied hard. They joined Chris Wall at Ahead, who's got 2 VCDXs, Brian Sir, and Tim Curlis. All who hold VCDXs. So a very elite community, and we continue to help build and grow, and they were, I think, helped by many other people at Ahead, and so that's huge news for them and for us as a company, so thank you very much. So that's kind of my housekeeping items. I'd like to just first start out and thank our customer base. If I look at how our customers have grown. This is not everyone, so if you're not up here, I apologize. But these are huge enterprise organizations that we're working with today, and you guys are the inspiration that leads us to building great solutions, hiring great people, focusing on great areas, and we really value and trust how you guys partner and collaborate with us on a daily basis. So, from all of the 155 Ahead employees to our customer base, which is growing very quickly on a quarterly basis, I'd just like to thank each of you for coming out here today and supporting us. So I have really 3 things I'm going to talk about today. First thing is I'm not going to really talk about what's happening in the industry. That's typically my go-to. I appreciate Dan's view on looking into the future, but we all have a huge opportunity at our hands today to capitalize on some major shifts happening in the marketplace today. And I think most of us know what those shifts are, but I want to kind of talk about some of the key themes that are impacting individuals, impacting teams, and impacting organizations. And as IT leaders, it's really upon all of us to take action and take charge. Second is I want to update everyone on what we've been doing at Ahead. We've got a lot of new things coming out. You're going to hear a lot of great Ahead speakers today. And I want to just give you guys a quick update on where we're investing. And lastly, I won't make this the first annual, but this is the first year we're going to give out the Innovator of the Year award to a customer who exhibits traits of driving innovation within their enterprise, helping align and grow with their business, and really making an impact. So anyone here heard of a company called Startup Vitamins? So basically, I don't see any hands. So this will be interesting. So Startup Vitamins is a company that makes their slogan or their motto is motivation for your business. And all they do is make really interesting posters, like we have a strategic plan called Doing Things, or Move Fast and Break Things. You can go on their website. I would encourage everyone to go there and look at all these really interesting posters they have. So a little side story, a couple years ago, we built our whole platform, which we use to collaborate and track opportunities and track all the deals we're working on. Our operational platform is Salesforce, and we needed to drive and spur adoption of Salesforce within AHEAD. So our IT team created a bunch of posters around the office. These were the first two. The first one was what you don't measure, you can't improve, and they started this thing called Salesforce University, and this Salesforce University was all about how to use reports inside Salesforce. And to this day, we still hold monthly Salesforce or IT University kind of classes. The second one was Salesforce sucks if you don't know how to use it. So they hung these all around the office. It spurred some good commentary. So I'm going to use some posters we created that we're calling AHEAD Vitamins. We're going to fortify ourselves today with some fun stuff we've created. But I'd highly suggest that everyone goes to the website and checks this out today. So Dan mentioned, how important it is to think of, a greenfield mindset today. And as we all know, not many of us, if any of us, are the Facebooks or Twitters or internet-born companies of today. And so we all live in an enterprise world where we have sunk costs and investments and applications and infrastructure that isn't going away anytime soon. And what our role is today is really about how do we optimize, how do we consolidate, how do we reduce cost in that brownfield environment. I think many of us also know today that brownfield environment, while critically important, is not the platform that we're going to build our next generation applications and infrastructure on to serve the business. Most of us are going to be looking at a hybrid of SaaS solutions, public cloud solutions, and solutions within our own data center. And I think that's pretty much de facto everywhere. Even in highly regulated environments today, we have customers of ours who are in the financial industry, the trading vertical, that are all looking at these external resources, whether it's Amazon or Azure or Box or other services out there today. So as leaders, we have to figure out how to bridge this gap. And we have to have a plan for the brownfield environment, and we also have to have a plan for greenfield. So my hope today is that after everyone looks and hears about from the speakers we have today, that you really take some fresh ideas back to your organization and think about how you can make an impact and make a change at an individual level, at a team level, and at a company level. So let's start with some vitamins. I think today, if we look at what's going on, there's just a ton of chaos. And that chaos is induced because there's so many decisions to make when we look at these environments. What platforms do I use? What tools do I select? Who are my vendors of choice? And it's our job as leaders to manage this chaos. And really, when I look at the world out here today, many of us are competing against startups today who are challenging our business model, our cost model, how we go to market. But we're also being enabled by startups today with new technology. And I'd say in the enterprise, which we primarily serve, if I would roll back 10 years, most enterprises would be hesitant to take a look and embrace technology that's 18, 24 months old. Today, that's totally different. People are willing to take challenge or take risk to evaluate and put enterprise-level systems on newer technology. So our job is to control this world But I think also with the chaos out there, we have opportunity. And the opportunity today is like none other. And I say that from an individual career perspective, and I'm going to be a little repetitive here, but from a team perspective and from an organizational perspective overall, IT has never had a greater position within most organizations. Traditionally, IT was looked at as a cost center. Today, we have a seat at the board table, and we have a voice at the board table. And that's really a huge impact, or has the potential to be a huge impact for many organizations. So I think that if we want a seat at the table, we have to come up with creative ideas, and we have to drive innovation within the enterprise. To do that, we have to challenge ourselves. And I think challenging ourselves is important, and the only way to challenge yourself is if you're passionate about something, passionate about a skill, passionate about a technology, passionate about an outcome. There's nothing that can replace passion these days, and combining passion with the ability to take risk is critical, because nobody ever succeeded or advanced without taking a huge amount of risk. And we have to gauge risk from a career perspective, from a corporate perspective, but if we just sit there and don't take risk and don't think differently, then we're not going to advance our own careers, we're not going to advance the mission of our own organizations. So it's critical that we align with our teams, that we get passionate about a technology, and we learn to take risks. When we take risks, change occurs, and we get out of our comfort zone. And I think this is really where people start to freeze up and say, I can't do that. It's never been done like this before. A little side story, about 10 days ago, I was in a briefing at our office with a customer, and I hate to dumb it down to this, but the customer was working with us on an automation project, which is what we're doing a lot of today, helping customers automate the deployment of applications and infrastructure. And going around the table talking about scope, and it came down to, how do I allocate an IP address? And I almost wanted to be like this and just put my head on the table and they couldn't get out of determining how they get people out of the process. And it was too risky if we didn't have someone just sit there and manually review the assignment of an IP address. And I sat there and I said, guys, if we're really going to make headway, and we're really going to automate, and we're really going to deliver upon the promises of a highly automated cloud-based infrastructure, we've got to at least get over assigning IP addresses. So we just have to get comfortable with change, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to learn from them. But we have to innovate within our enterprise. And I don't care if you have a very small environment or a massive environment, we all have to innovate today. And a lot of people get nervous when we talk about innovation because they think it has to be this massive idea, and one person is in charge of innovation, and how do we really drive innovation within an enterprise organization? But what I've found over the years is innovation can be a new process, a new method that when combined with other things and fed in with other people's ideas, that sparks a lot of innovation within an enterprise. It's not one big bang thing typically. It's a lot of individuals coming together, bringing a lot of little ideas together that ultimately drives innovation. Innovation is easy to talk about, but in order to prove out ideas and theories, we all have to experiment. And for those of you who were here last year, we talked about 4 real market-changing forces that I still believe are present today in the enterprise. One is cheap and plentiful infrastructure as a service or platform as a service. We all have the capability to go out and swipe our credit cards and get capacity and buy services at an Amazon or an Azure or another cloud service provider. The second is a globally accessible workforce where we're sharing knowledge. So people are accessible, knowledge is accessible. Third is open APIs. So everything has an API today, and if it doesn't, we probably shouldn't be buying it. We probably shouldn't be implementing it. So we're looking at infrastructures that are all programmatic in nature. And the fourth is we are fundamentally seeing the commoditization and I'd say the demarcation of hardware in the enterprise. So open source hardware, open compute, we are seeing people just fundamentally re-architect how hardware is built and consumed. So these are things that we should all take advantage of. And we literally have companies that are spending hundreds of dollars to experiment on things, fail, learn from that, and then try again. And I would really challenge all of you today who said, well, we don't have a lab or we don't have something like that in our organization. It's upon each of us to go convince our teams, convince our organizations that we need to be experimenting. And I would encourage you, if you don't have the lab, use ours. We have tons of equipment. We have vendors that are supporting us. We can make it available to you from a remote access perspective, but use our facilities if you don't have your own. So this is one of my favorite posters. So I have to give credit where credit's due. Kelly Kennan, who works for me and runs our solutions development team, came up with many of these posters, and Mary Miller as well. But we're all being asked to move fast. And I had another customer in our briefing center say, why does everyone want to move fast? Why is that such a fascination out in the marketplace today? The real reality is that none of us control the pace at which the market's moving. The market sets the pace which things move, and we can go faster than the market or slower than the market, but we have to determine that. And some people are good with moving at the pace of the market or a little slower, a little faster. That's up to you and your business. But speed is everything today, and I think Gene Kim is going to be talking today extensively about how we can improve the rate at which we innovate and deliver software and deliver capabilities within our enterprise organizations. And it's not just the Twitters and the Facebooks who can deliver code 3 times a day to their end users. It's large enterprise organizations, and the methodologies he's developed and coached people and organizations on for years now is something that you guys can adopt yourself. So while it's great to move fast, while it's great to experiment, while it's great to innovate and build new capabilities, one of the things I talk about to a lot of customers I meet with is if nobody knows about it, then what's the point in doing it? So we have to be marketing our capabilities within the organization, and we have to tell people about what we're building. And this is a big thing for many organizations because a lot of us have built great capabilities internally. We have great cost structures around them. We're efficient, but nobody knows about it. And that's when people start going around enterprise IT organizations because there's a lack of knowledge about what's been built. So I'd encourage everybody, whether you want to create your own vitamins posters or you want to do some other grassroots marketing campaign, think about how you, as an individual, can market yourself, your team, or the things that you're building within your organization in a more consistent manner. So that's kind of the end of what I see happening with many organizations and what we have to do to capitalize on this shift going on in the industry and how we need to be looking at solving problems, innovating, challenging ourselves in both the brownfield and the greenfield environments that we all manage and are out there today. So I want to transition and tell you guys a little bit about what we've been doing at Ahead. And for those of you who haven't seen this slide or this before, this is how we really spent some time over the last year boiling down what our purpose is as an organization. And our purpose today is to help you innovate by delivering enterprise IT, enterprise service management, cloud infrastructure, and mobility solutions. And we do that leveraging something called the AHEAD Innovation Framework. And the AHEAD Innovation Framework is really a framework that we lay on top of any space, any technology, any solution that we're bringing to market. So many of you are familiar with this. This is how we engage with a lot of our customers. And some of our customers need a strategy for how they're going to tackle enterprise file sync and share or mobility solutions, how they're going to build cloud infrastructure or highly automated application and infrastructure automation, or a service management strategy. So these are consulting-led services that we engage with our customers on. And the three things that they deliver at the end of the day are they help you build consensus within your organization. Many of you are heads down, focused on operating the day-to-day, and these allow you to pull out, get in a workshop, drive consensus, and accelerate the time to value, accelerate the time it takes you to build a plan, build a strategy, make a decision on what technologies you're using and need to deploy to solve a business problem, and then innovate on top of that. So whether you already have a strategy and roadmap and just need a design, if you have a design and need us to deploy, you can start at any phase in the AHEAD Innovation Framework and engage with us. And many of you have taken part in these workshops. We have great feedback from customers on this. I'd encourage everyone to go up to the 10th floor in our lounge area, where a lot of our principal consultants will be today, who deliver a lot of these engagements. You'll see deliverables and other examples of work we've done for customers. So this is the framework, and we apply it to the solutions we build. This year, we formally launched our enterprise service management solution. So this is all about consolidating and consumerizing and automating IT service management. This practice is generally built around the ServiceNow platform. It's really the only area where we've aligned with one technology vendor, and it's growing like wildfire, and our customers are all looking to put that umbrella service management tool set in their environment. Joe Jogman leads this practice. He's going to be presenting this afternoon, and the demo he has built is incredible. So he's combined ServiceNow and another product called Service Watch, and I would highly encourage you guys to go see that this afternoon. Most of you know us for our expertise in cloud infrastructure. This is public, private, and hybrid cloud, infrastructure as a service, automation and orchestration, and general data center, storage, compute, networking infrastructure. So this is our biggest and most tenured solution that we bring to market today, and one that's growing rapidly. And we're investing a lot both in continued on-prem infrastructure as well as the public cloud. And finally, mobility. This encompasses everything from end-user computing, desktop as a service, enterprise file sync and share, enterprise app store. Derek Wise, who was a customer last year on stage, is presenting on the 9th floor later this afternoon. He's now one of our principal consultants. So these are our solutions, and we're continuing to invest in new solutions as well. From an enterprise service management perspective, we're releasing new managed services. So a lot of our customers have asked to help manage their ServiceNow instances, as well as building capabilities around Service Watch. We have a ton of stuff going on in cloud infrastructure. We continue to invest in Amazon and Azure. Eric Terrell will be up here later today talking about those investments and where we see the public cloud heading. We also have a service we've built called the AHEAD Optimization Service. This is a service that's built around cloud physics, which is a really, really interesting tool for looking at virtualized environments. Chris Wall and John Blumenthal, the co-founder of Cloud Physics, will be presenting on 9 later today. And we've wrapped not just a tool, but a service around this offering, which helps you look at how we optimize our virtualized environment. We're also working, many of you are trying to understand the software-defined networking landscape. What does Cisco ACI provide? What does NSX provide? And so we have some new services that we're building around there. And then we continue to invest in the automation frameworks. That's probably our fastest, hottest growing area right now. Everybody's looking to automate. OpenStack is something we've put in the lab, as well as Azure Stack. Nick Collier will talk a little bit about that. On the mobility side of things, we're doing a lot to enhance the ease of which end users adopt the solutions that we recommend, make it easier for them, as well as helping simplify the experience from an infrastructure perspective. And finally, a new area for us is big data. Scott Reeder, who has been with AHEAD literally since almost day one, has been taking on this charge. He's going to be presenting, I think he's the first presentation on 9 later today. He has a tremendous amount of experience in this space, and I'd encourage you to all listen to him. This is a growing, budding area for many of you, and for us, we want to help you figure out what the right big data solutions are. So while we continue to invest, we also look for customers who are investing. And I've reached my time limit, but I have one more thing I'd like to share with you, and that's the AHEAD Innovator of the Year. So before I announce that, what we looked for when we put this award together is a customer who's really aligning with the business, driving innovation, has an open mind to change, and is helping differentiate their organization through technology. And a lot of you are doing that today, and this wasn't an easy award to put together. But for 2015, I'd like to announce that our Innovator of the Year is Clark Ardern from Jones Lang LaSalle. So please give me a warm round. So we've worked with JLL for many years. We have Loring Pells, who's a principal consultant of ours, and spends 2 days a week with Clark and his team on a global basis, helping them define strategy, work on specific projects. Loring spent about 9 months or so putting their platform as a service strategy together, visiting Amazon, visiting Microsoft, visiting SoftLayer, and that's turned into some really great stuff. We are currently working to consolidate some data centers with them, and this has been an ongoing relationship. I recently went out to the West Coast with Clark and his team from Singapore and from Hong Kong. We do VC briefings, so we take customers out who are interested in technology that we don't even have anything to do with and spend a day with them in Silicon Valley going on briefings. And Clark is driving this organization forward. And the evidence of this is they just made the Fortune 500 list for the first time. And they also, in the last 3 years, have doubled their revenue. And we're talking about from just over $1 billion to well over $3 billion now. So they're making huge strides, and technology is a big part of this. So I called Clark up, told him he won this award, and he said, great, I'd love to come accept it. And I told him the date, and he said, ooh, I'm on a cruise to Alaska that day. So I said, well, why don't we phone this in like MTV style? So I'm going to play a quick 40-second video that Clark recorded about accepting this award.
Hi, Clark here from Jones Lang LaSalle, Global Chief Technology Officer. AHEAD's been a great partner of ours for many years, and really appreciate the recognition for Innovator of the Year. You've helped us meet innovative companies in out west with some Silicon Valley, Sand Hill Road trips with the help of Eric, and partnerships with VC firms like Andreessen Horowitz. Typically, we've had you as an America-centric partner, but now we're adding resources on your side to help us actually implement capabilities around the world, like platform as a service is now standardized with help from Ahead, as we did the analysis in that space and now have deployed it. We're doing some things with infrastructure field office consolidation, where we still have regional data centers, and it's important that we consolidate these facilities from our field offices to the regional centers as much as possible, and lowering PELs played a key role there. John and his team help us all the time with making sure our storage and server ecosystem is up to date and running on the latest and greatest technologies. So again, thanks a lot for the recognition, appreciate it, and look forward to continued partnership with Ahead in the future.
So I thank Clark for doing that, and we'll give him the award after. But most of all, I thank all of you for coming here today. Think differently, innovate, challenge yourselves, get uncomfortable, share ideas today. This is hopefully a great day. Get out of the office. Don't think about the day-to-day. Think about how you guys can drive change in yourself as well as your organization over time.